Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ardent Talk. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Leslie Sue, the host for Ardent Talk. If you're new to Ardent Talk is all about meeting artists and being inspired. We embrace the traditional arts as well as the spiritual arts to bring you diverse and quality interviews to watch and to be inspired by. So today our guest is a writer, and she's also an energy practitioner, and she has coined 2022 as the year of manifestation. So we'll be diving into her writing and being under her guidance as far as looking into our thoughts and what we're manifesting, whether it's on default or on purpose to create things in our life such as happiness, love, and light. And she is a returning guest to Ardent Talk. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'd like to welcome our guest for today, Lisa Burke. Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi, Leslie Sue. Thank you. Thank you for having me back again. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're so delighted to see you again and connect with you. So here we are in the beginning of the third month of 2022. And I love your beautiful coining of 2022 as the year of manifestation. Maybe we could just kind of start with that, Lisa. What exactly does that mean, and what do we need to tap into?
Absolutely. So the way that I see it is we are now producing more rapidly and asking more rapidly than we ever have before. And the universe gives to us what they're looking for. Time is sped up. I mean, you used to have to wait weeks to get certain foods to ripen. Now you can just have anything that you want when you want it. You know, you can go to the store and get things. I think that this year has been, it's been a process since 2020 started, the Great Awakening. And 2022, I believe, is the remembering, a coming back together again, a remembering who we are, which brings us into 2022 being the year of manifestation. So if there's a lot of negativity going on in the world right now, we're all very aware of it. There's a lot of people that focus on that. And I think that the more that we focus on the negativity, the more negativity that we'll see. The more that we focus on positivity and the positive changes that we can make, the more of that we'll see. So it's very important what our mindset is this year. What do we want more of in our world to bring more of in the world as a whole?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at what we want to bring in and how we're bringing it in, and if that's lining up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's very easy to get wrapped up in the chaos and the turmoil that's in the world because there is a lot of it. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that, but that just shows you, it almost shows you that it is the year of manifestation. We are seeing these things come to actual life, and we have to be more aware of what we're manifesting with our own energy.
Mm-hmm. And can you guide us, Lisa? Give us some little hints into being an energy practitioner and of course, a writer expressing your thoughts and wisdom and whatnot. What are some ways that we can look into our own personal energy? And, if we're seeing things that, aren't lining up to what we do want to manifest, how can we transform that within ourselves? Can you give us some like insider tips?
Absolutely. So first I'll touch base on my writing itself. I think I've mentioned to you before, my journaling is basically my pen is a secret keeper. And I just write down all these random thoughts that come to my head. When I write, it's usually not in any kind of order of story. It's I would consider wisdom from myself in different points of time. So as I read back through my writings, there's messages from my yesterdays for today or even for the future to come. So it's almost like I can read through my writings like it's new information every time I do, depending on where I am at. And so that's really what my writing is about. I don't have I am working on a book project, but my big goal is to get everything that's up here out here, get it out of my head. And you say, how can we, if we catch ourselves in the negative mindset, switching back into the positive mindset? I want to touch base on that really quick because it's something that I'm going to start something called Mirror Mondays, and it's working through the archetypes. And so there's a light side to every archetype and a shadow side to each archetype. We all have all of these archetypes within us. It's a matter of what role are we in right now. So, for example, the archetype of the victim is also the nurturer. So if you are in the role of mother or nurturer, you cannot be in the role of victim at the same time, and vice versa. If you're in the role of victim, you can't be nurturing. So when you catch yourself there, what I say is flip the switch, turn the light on. The first thing is awareness. Oh, wait a minute. This is victim mentality. And I don't mean playing the victim. Sometimes we are the victim. Yet it's almost the same as if you're in the problem, you can't be in the solution at the same time. If you're in the shadow, you can't be in the light at the same time. When you recognize yourself in one of these shadow sides of the archetype, which we all do, you have to look at it and say, okay, I'm being the victim. Yes, I'm the victim, but how can I switch this into the role of nurturer? How can I nurture this situation and flip the switch? So that, for everyone, every individual, there's different ways. I'd love to say that there's one way to switch the light back on, but it depends on who and where we are, Mm-hmm. And the energy worker, the energy practitioner, I am a Reiki 2 practitioner. I do not practice often. Reason being, I'm still working on myself. I do practice Reiki with friends and family and people close to them. However, I don't believe I am a healer. I don't believe that Reiki practitioners are healers. I believe that we are aware that we can be an empty vessel for the healing energy to flow through. And it's intention that matters the most. My intention is for the person to find healing. You can liken it to a lamp. If you turn the lamp on and you say, I'm the light of the lamp, but I am not the source that powers the lamp. I am just the light. I am not the source of the energy that lights that lamp. Do you know what I mean? So you have to remember that I am not the healer. I am what the healing energy can flow through. I think that if and when we start thinking I am the healer, it separates healing, So.
Yeah, I think that's a great distinction, Lisa. It's like that one who is in being an energy practitioner or in any type of healing modality, you're saying that it's that healing love, that healing light, that healing force from source, from God, however one, wants to, give a name to honor reverence to the creator, that is actually what's coming through, and that it's not the actual person per se. They're just being that pure vessel. And I love your emphasis also, Lisa, on awareness. Like, first of all, taking from what I'm getting from you is an honest look of like where you are, where you're at, because you mentioned that, and just taking a real assessment of that, and then also through that awareness is going to help flip the switch, as you were saying.
Absolutely. Think about it. Right now they say, where are you currently? What is your current location? Or what is your current situation? Think of that word itself, right? Why do they call it current? Just like when the river flows, it flows with the current, or as energy goes through the wires, that's where the current is going. Current is your point of power. So when they say, so where are you now? Your point of power is now, right? So I think that when we step back and we step into our present moment and become aware, this is my point of power. This is the only thing that truly not just matters, but exists, because the past is just a memory. It only stays alive in our mind. And the future is only a projection of our mind. And a lot of us sit in fear and worry about what may come. But now our current situation, our current mind frame, that is where our point of power is. So to be aware of that, and also, like I said, the archetypes, where am I in my current moment? Am I in the light or the shadow? And I'm not saying right or wrong, because I don't believe that either one of them is right or wrong. But it just, like you said, awareness of here I am, and how do I get to where I want to be? And where do I want to be? I want to feel better. That's all we ever really want, right? We want to be happy. So to get into the light side, you know, you get a different kind of feeling. You spread a different kind of feeling, and you emanate a different kind of energy.
Yeah. You have a video that you prepared that I would love to show now, where you really get into this. So let's go ahead and show that. Give me just a moment. And
absolutely.
That up. Okay.
All right, guys, let's talk about 2022, the year of manifestation. Be careful, because what you think and what you speak about will become more of what you see. I bump into so many people that are like talking about the negativity of the world, and there's a lot of that to focus on for sure, but what you think about will become your existence. The more you look at the negativity, the more you're going to see the negativity. The more you focus on positive aspects of life, the more positive things will come to you. We are creating, and most of us are creating by default. Like, we don't even realize that our thoughts are creating our environment, like literally, and our world and the situations that we encounter. So let's deactivate the default mode, and let's program ourselves to create in a positive way. Cultivate your atmosphere. Get rid of all the negativity, the news, forget about it. Spread the light. Kindness is free. Give it to everybody. Smile at a stranger. You know, if it's, you know, like, do something that you've never done before, just for the experience alone. So I have a very amazing spiritual guide in which I get to share a lot of my days with, and he taught me something that's super important. I was afraid most of my life, afraid to do anything, and he really taught me that a life lived in fear is a life half lived. Like, I'm 41 years old, almost 42 years old, and I've lived half of my life because I was just too scared to step outside of the box. You have this inner voice inside of you that's screaming the essence of who you are to you, but with a soft whisper. You hear it, though. I know you do. We all do. And, like, if we just listen to that and follow that inner guide, amazing things happen. The road rolls out before you, behind you, around you. Things become beautiful. Let me explain something to you, okay? I'm sitting on the incredible island of Maui in Hawaii. I have been out sailing, visiting with the dolphins, meeting the locals. Like, this is amazing. It's an amazing experience. I never thought I could do this, but here I am, you know? Another thing I really want to touch base, sorry, I'm like really trying to get it all out under 3 minutes. So for 2022, energy and time are the new currency. Like, you can have money, you can have plenty of money, but if you're not putting your time and your energy in the right places, what are you bringing forth? And how much happiness is that going to give you, honestly? Like, it's time to change things. We know what works and we know what doesn't, so let's be a part of the solution instead of the problem, because we can't be in both. So pick a side, and love and light to all of you. I hope that this finds you in happiness. And, oh, here's the puppy. Love you all. Have a good night. Thanks.
I love that. And I love your focus on the change being within, you know, looking within oneself, and also the honoring of fears, and you know, which is across the board that, you know, most of us, you know, have and are, you know, focused on, you know, releasing by things that you're saying, like being in the current moment as our point of power, you know, letting go of the past, and, you know, not projecting into the future. So I love all these areas that you're tapping into, and also to explore the unknown, which I think is a big fear, you know, for many. But how you were saying that, like almost like a whole magical door opens up because you know, stepped into that territory, and, you know, bravely, courageously, on faith and on trust. So how beautiful is that?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Since my mind frame changed about with the fear and the lack, I felt like I didn't have enough. Well, I don't have enough money to do that, or I don't have enough time to do that, or I'm afraid. When I stopped all those things and realized that, you know, I am capable of doing it, and the rest will follow if I just step out of my comfort zone. And like I said in the video, here I am on the island of Maui. I've been here for almost 2 months, and just it's magical. It's magical, the things that have been coming towards me. It's almost like the universe is asking you or given anything that I say, anything that I think. It's synchronistic, and I go, oh my God, I'm mind blown. But the truth is, it's divine. When you get in that groove where you're following the inner call, you're following that voice that's in here instead of that voice that's in your mind that says you can't. It just changes. You just see, you can't help but see the results of that energy. And that's why I say, for me, 2022, time and energy are the new currency, not money, not money. I mean, we need money to live. I'm not denying that. I understand that. But if that is our focal point, then we're going to see struggle. You're going to see struggle. But if you're putting your time and energy in the right places, I can guarantee you financial freedom will follow. Maybe you won't be abundant where overabundance where, you know, now I'm going to go get a mansion in that sports car of my dreams, but you'll have more than enough, and more than enough to give, you know, like it. And for me, my goal is to, I don't want things for the sake of having things. I want in order to be able to give, to pay it forward. And when you get into that as well, I notice that it just comes, because if your cup is overflowing, it'll keep getting filled as long as it's overflowing into the appropriate places, you know, it will keep getting filled. And I think in order to get, you know, you catch yourself in a negative situation, myself included, and something negative happens, or which appears to be negative. And instead of saying, oh man, like this is horrible, my life is miserable, in my head, and at first it sounded like a joke, but in my head or out loud, I would say, man, everything's working out for me, huh? And the more that you get into that, like, this is divinity working its plan, the more you realize that the bigger picture, it really was working out for you. It really was. You just, not the way that you intended or expected.
Yeah, I love that point, Lisa. So then we can really offer up relaxation and trust by knowing that everything is sort of divinely set. And, you know, even if something like you're saying, you know, appears maybe in a certain way that we didn't expect, or maybe we're, you know, thinking, okay, well, maybe this is not really what we want, that really there is that beauty or that blessing that is really contained in that. So I think that's such an excellent point.
Absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily say like, I do think things are divinely inspired. I think we do have the gift of free will. We get to choose. We have options out there to choose different paths. But depending on our energy, that path unfolds in just a magical way. And also, not everything, I don't believe everything really happens for a reason, but we can find a reason in everything that happens. And so when you look at it that way and you say, you know, no, this isn't the universe or God, or I think it's all the same for me personally, but this isn't about, I'm not being punished in a sense. I'm not, the universe isn't, it's, you know, you just got to kind of look at it and say, okay, what can I learn here? How can I move forward in the light? How can I be a part of the solution to whatever challenge I'm facing, rather than focusing on, you know, that, and then things, the new options will open up before you. Mm-hmm. You know, you'll see things in a way that, hold on, oh, there's an opportunity. I didn't even realize. I was looking so hard at what I lost. I didn't realize what was sitting right here in front of me. So,
yeah. Let's move into your writing, Lisa. We have some text photos to look at. So let's go ahead and pull those up and then have you comment on them.
Sounds good.
A second, here we go. All right.
All right. Now, do you want me to read it out loud before we comment on it, or?
I think that would be great.
Awesome. Awesome. So, sitting in life's latency is often where you'll find me. Between the words, that silent space where thoughts left unsaid take place. Is it me or something more? That whispering I've heard before. Here in the space between the sounds where hidden gems of truth are found. So for me, I sit in thought often, or in conversation, that space that no one's speaking, and thoughts arise into your head. Those are the things left unsaid. Oftentimes, those are the beautiful truths, your beautiful truths that we hold inside, you know? So I think that we always have, at least for myself, I'll speak, I have these things inside of me. If I'm driving down the road and I'm in quiet thought and a little voice says to me, you know, take that street instead today. You know, that's life's latencies. That's where you hear the sounds in between the sounds, where we're in a state of asking a lot at, you know, what's coming next, or what do I got to do here, or what do you have to tell me, or we ask for help, but most oftentimes we don't stop and listen long enough to hear the response within. We're looking for something outside of ourselves to answer this question, but really, I believe that the answers are within life's latencies. Those are within the space of time where you're in silence, contemplation. You know, I just think that there's beauty in that. And I think it's really good. And I've been working it into my routine to find that time to be silent at least 2 times a day for at least 10 to 15 minutes and just listen. Maybe, you know, I get answers in that silence, and I believe that other people will as well if they just stop and give themselves time to hear without asking. So
that's beautiful, Lisa. So you're really guiding us to that silent space, that quiet inner space, and just really attuning to listening.
Absolutely. I believe that our inner world creates our outer world, and we see things that resemble our feelings, our emotions, and our thoughts. And if you know, it's easier to look and say, oh, I'm going to change this on the outside. But when you come back and you start inner, that's when the outside world changes. It really all starts with your inner world.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And, you know, Lisa, I know in the first interview we touched upon this, and I definitely recommend people to watch Lisa's first interview, get some more insight into her and her writing. But just tell us, Lisa, about the name Ardent Lyricism. How did you come up with that?
You know, I don't know exactly how I came up with it. It just came to me. Ardent is passionate. It's vibrant. It's, glowing. And lyricism, I believe our words are our lyrics. Our words are our song. And for me, ardent lyricism, it's passionate writing. That's what I do. I write from a place of passion. And ardent lyricism, yes, that's the name I write under, but it's not just me. I find ardent lyricism in so many others that I see passion in, whether it's art or music or writing or acting. You can see ardent lyricism within so many things. So it is the name I use for my writing, but it's so much more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay. So society says, distraught, distress, live up, impress, stand up, sit down. Society says, you're not where they want you, not yet. I forgot what was programmed by the world into my head. A race to become something else, more like them than yourself. Fire rising beyond our vision and humanity scales. Wake up, let go, all those things that you know, for lack of a better word. To learn what I speak, you must break free of almost everything that you've heard. Being, such a beautiful verb. Distraught, distress, live up, impress. Stand up, sit down, society says. You're not where they want you. Forget about them. So for me, that writing is, you watch the news, you get magazines, you see the way that people live and what's trending or what's the hot topic. And it almost, in my eyes, manipulates you into what you're being created into. But when you stop and look at those unique things that make you you, those things that, let's call it the unique individual, those things that call to you may not be what everyone else is wearing or what everyone else is doing. And I think that we need to break free from that, what society's saying to do, what is, it's almost, I don't like to use the word, but it's like sheeple, and like they're steering us this way when really we're being called to do something else, but we ignore it because the mass is going this way. We follow the mass. Like everybody says this is the right way. So let's go, And for me, I think that we need to break free from that. We need to look into ourselves and say, what makes me me? What am I being called to do? What do I like to wear? What music do I like to listen to? What do I like to do? And that is our gift, So I think we need to step back a little bit. Maybe, stay up with the current events, but don't base your life on current events. Stay up with entertainment if you care to, but don't base your life around that entertainment. Mm-hmm. Find something outside of that for you.
Mm-hmm. So Lisa, it sounds like it's really a call to one's uniqueness and one's individuality.
Absolutely. I say that's where our gifts lie. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're unique individuals for a reason. And these things that have called to you, and most of us our whole lives, those desires or passions. I've always wanted to learn about this, or I've always wanted to play this instrument, or, this place in the world has always called me. It's those things for a reason. And I think that when we follow those calls inside, like, all right, for myself, I've always wanted to play a musical instrument, never really thought of one specifically, but something within the last 6 months said, I need a violin. I just need a violin. I have no musical experience. And someone very close to me bought me a violin for Christmas. So, it's those things. It's stepping outside. Yes, I'm 41 years old and I've never played a musical instrument, but it's not too late to try. And, I think that that's important. And I think that once you start listening to those little calls and actually following through and putting yourself first, in that sense, I think you'll notice that uniqueness of who you are, it starts emanating a new kind of light about you. Your energy shifts, and people around you do notice that. They do feel it themselves and get inspired to do the same. And I think unique individuality, that is super important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so beautifully said, Lisa. And this also ties back to what we were speaking about a few moments ago with attuning to the inner voice and listening to that, and not having that be overshadowed, as you said, Lisa, to, things that society is saying, or like, what's trending. And you're saying, you can, listen to that and focus in on that if you're interested, but yet to be at a place of almost like an inner conviction. And I love how you keep using that word calling, like answering the calling within. And that's really beautiful. So it's like, okay, it's almost like there's this world and this is what's going on and it's this and that, but it's not being immobilized by it. It's not letting that overshadow one's true calling, one's interest, and not being influenced in a way that is not, being true to one's own uniqueness.
Absolutely. And I follow suit just as well. It is easy to get wrapped up and engulfed by what's going on in the world. But again, that's where I say flip the switch. When you notice yourself diving into that, and my daughter, she's 21 years old, and she calls me the other day and she says, "Mom, the world, how are we gonna, this is crazy. What's going on?" And I said, I know that it's important that we know what's going on, but now let's switch over and focus on the positive for a minute. We need some change in order for some change to happen, and things aren't working properly.
Right.
So yeah, I really think that it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. And you tied in this into the video as well. And I love your example of the violin. I mean, talk about taking a beautiful leap and listening to an inner call, and saying, okay, well, you didn't really have any background thus far in music. But for some reason, the violin was calling to you, and, you didn't allow any fear or anything else to determine not having this manifest. And then look what happened. Here it is, Christmas gift for you. And we'll be excited to see what develops from that. So that's you're really being a living demonstration of your writing and manifesting and, really living this, as well.
Absolutely. That's where the writing comes from, honestly. I write about what I'm going through in my life experiences to get it out of my head, to get it on paper, and to remind myself where I've been, and to bring me forward. And so I'll be honest with you, when I pick up that violin, it doesn't sit in my hands as elegantly as I thought it would. I feel like a broken doll. It's not, super easy to get used to, and that's okay. Right now, where I'm in Maui, I had to leave my violin behind for a little bit. I came to Maui for a 2-week vacation and never went back. So I hope to get that violin in my hand again soon. However, I'm right where I'm meant to be. But like I said, I didn't pick that violin up and know how to play it. And it's not going to be an easy process. That's okay. You got to be willing to work through the discomfort in order to get comfortable with something, and then to become more comfortable with it, you're getting better and better at it as long as you put your time and energy into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Lisa, we have one more. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay.
All right. The acorn and the oak. An acorn, small enough to hold in your hand, inside such an intricate plan. To grow from something so tiny becomes all there is to be. Inside the acorn hides the great oak tree. So, in my eyes, this is the essence of you and I, or current situations going on. So, that shell that sits around that acorn, it protects everything that's inside of that, right? It has to break open in order for the acorn to reach out and grab nutrients to fuel itself, so that it becomes the great oak tree. If that shell did not break open, if it stayed inside that protective shell forever, it would be an acorn. It needs to break open to become the great oak. And I think that that's similar to one, the chaos that's going on in the world right now. I believe that's such as the acorn cracking open so that we can become something greater. And the same with ourselves. When we walk through those invisible walls and fears that we hide and step outside of our box, we realize, you know, we start growing, we gain experiences, and through those experiences, we nurture ourselves and we become something more. And what is, for me, the meaning of life is to experience life itself, to experience. So if we're stagnant and we're sitting inside this protective little bubble to do, you know, everything that's just safe and not step outside of the box a little bit, we'll stay the same forever. There's no room for growth. And I think that that's what we need to do, is step outside the box, you know, experience things outside our comfort zone, do something we've never done, you know, in order to grow into what our ideal or our highest essence could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that, Lisa, how you always encourage us to, you know, break these boundaries, you know, break these mental boundaries and move past fears and live in our point of power and look within ourselves and hear within ourselves for guidance. And it's just so beautiful, and how you weave this into your writing as well, and just your down to earthness, and you know what you're going through, you know, at different times now and whatnot, and you know, sharing that and being a, you know, an instrument of teaching as well, so we can all learn.
Well, I'm grateful that you take it that way. See, for me, as I these are messages that first start to myself. They're reminders to myself, because I also am fearful at times, and I also get trapped in default mode, where we just wake up and do what we're automatically do, and habitual, you know, things. It just, you know, I also play those parts, and these are reminders to myself to be in the light. These are reminders to myself, like, snap out of it, Lisa. But it's an everyday thing, you know? And so I just share that. I just share that in a sense where I feel like so many people go through what they have to. I can't be the only one that feels this way. You know, I can't be the only one that's afraid. I can't be the only one that gets sad and forgets like how good life can be or how good life is. Just the fact that I woke up this morning. You woke up this morning. My children, I have 2 children. My children woke up this morning. My parent, everybody I love, it's like I won the lottery. And so when I wake up and take that first breath aware of like, how here I am and what a gift. And when you open your eyes in that way, it helps to, you know, spark the rest of your day in that same way, you know? And like I said, deactivate the default. We just, it's easy to get automated. It's easy to be ritualistic. We have these things that we're obligated to do, you know, so.
Yeah. I love that. It's like really getting off the hamster wheel and really going back to what you're saying. You know, it's time for that interchange, that transformation, and really stepping up into who we are in beautiful light and as love. And so I love all the messages that you're sharing here. Let's move into, Lisa, where we still have a few minutes. You're going into some different directions. And as far as your writing, you want to move into a more interactive and a more collaborative experience with yourself and others. Can you share with us what that is about and what you envision?
Absolutely. So with Ardent Lyricism, I am going to be starting a Zoom meetings called Leading Edge of Light. And I'm going to invite others to join me to have conversations that look outside the box, that see, you know, it's not about my opinion or your opinion and what's right and wrong. It's sharing. What do you see? What do I see? Because in order to see, say, a flower, for example, you have to look from all sides, not just your own. If you look at one side of the flower, you own one side of the flower. So for everybody to share opinions and beliefs on certain topics so that we can expand and grow together. But also with my energy work. So like I said, right now I'm living in Maui, staying on a mac nut farm in a tent, and it has been incredible. But I am heading back to Massachusetts at the end of this month to get into a renovation project. I have an RV, and we're going to get her road ready, and we're going to be traveling light. So we are going to go across the United States and Canada, and we are going to spread love and light as we go. And so I will be sharing online on YouTube and other avenues, TikTok. I guess all the kids are telling me that everybody's on TikTok. So we're going to get on there and we're going to share our journey. And the intention is to shed the light. And by that, I mean, what happens when you turn the light on in a room? You take the darkness and it shows you what's there. So shedding the light is bringing awareness to situations. The person that I'll be traveling with is my significant other, and he just got back from a very amazing journey that he was called to do, traveling from Northern America into South America on foot. He left a very high-paying job as a construction supervisor and worker, and he left everything behind to walk into South America and say, I'm here for whatever you need. I'm going to rebuild for you. And he picked up trash in Guatemala. He had one backpack and shoes. And what I saw on his journey was, wow, look, they don't even have clean water to drink. And we have so much in this world. We have so much. We have more than enough for everybody. It's not distributed properly. And so our goal on Traveling Light and Temple I Am would be, we're going to find where cups are overflowing with extra, like for instance, the farm that I'm on right now, they don't just have macadamia nuts. There's an overabundance of every kind of, there's 22 types of bananas on this farm, and there's more than enough. So much goes to waste. It's finding where things are overflowing and being wasted, and then finding where it's needed, where the lack is, and being the one to say, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put my time and energy into taking this overflow and filling this lack. Me personally, I have not much to give aside from time and energy. So I'll do that. And that's just, it's just connecting. So I think that my writing, the energy work, it's all just wrapped into my life. I'm living it and I'm sharing it. So, as I live, my writing will grow, and I hope that it expands in ways that it helps many others. But for me, if it helps one other person say, wow, I've been there, or I'm going, that's where I want to be, or whatever it is, if it helps one person step outside the box, that's enough for me. And it's helped me. So I'm already winning, so.
Yeah. Lisa, it is such a joy to connect with you. I love this story that you shared with your significant others, and you're both on that same page, and exploring the unknown and answering the call. And I'm so excited about your journey. I was like getting tingles as you were sharing it, to be like this traveling love and light, and the fact that you're going to be sharing this journey, going across the country, sharing love, sharing light. Your writing, your messages, and just experiencing, being open, and seeing what's happening, and that we get to share this with you and connect in with you with social media to see what you're experiencing. It's just good. I know I can feel it. It's going to be so amazing.
Yeah, I feel like you're right, because it's for a purpose of happiness for others and myself, and so that the RV renovation will also be on there every little step of the way as we do things. So it's an experience for myself, and I'm glad to be able to share it. I'm really glad to be able to share it. And thank you for having me on here to share this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I love your pioneering spirit. And I know you're on a macadamia farm, as you've been mentioning in Maui, and how beautiful that is. We have had a little bit of some reception issues, but that's, I guess, just par for the course. So as we do need to wrap up the show, Lisa, are there any closing comments that you'd like to close out the show with, and let us know how we can stay connected with you?
Speaking of connection problems, I missed all of what you just said. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. We do need to close the show out. So are there any other closing comments, Lisa, that you'd like to share with us? And then if you could let us know how to stay connected with you.
Absolutely. As of right now, the best way to stay connected would be Ardent Lyricism on Facebook. And like I said, I am working on the TikTok and the YouTube, and that'll all be, so if you follow Ardent Lyricism on Facebook, you'll get that information as it comes. There's also SoulShine Alignment on Facebook, and that is my energy practitioner page. But for closing comments, I would just say, stay in the light, do your best to have positive thoughts and encourage others rather than bring others down, and be uniquely you. Drive forward and share your journey, because that's what we have. So for everybody out there, just share your journey with others. You never know who it might help or who might be inspired to step up and live their own, So that's really it.
Lisa is so beautiful. Wishing you much success with your writing, with this journey that you'll be embarking on, and all different aspects. I'm excited to follow you and see how everything develops for you. And what a joy to connect with you. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me, Leslie Sue.
Yeah, and such upliftment and light and love that you bring. And I just want to reemphasize that pioneering spirit. It's one thing, to write about things and be an eloquent speaker, but you really live it, day to day, and you're so honest and upfront, with, what you're going through, whatever it is. And it's just, just being your beautiful, authentic self. I just wanted to thank you for that so much, Lisa.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Leslie Sue.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching Ardent Talk today. We appreciate the time you take to watch our artist videos and draw inspiration from them. Please stay connected with us on our YouTube channel, Ardent Talk. Please subscribe and connect with us on Facebook. Please also like and share and follow as well. We appreciate your support, and we'll talk soon on the next Ardent Talk. Until then, be well and be blessed.